Hey guys, Roofman Reaper here. So as you can see, I am here in Bangor. I know, 2 Bangor videos in 1 year. Really spoiling news in 2025. Yeah, I'm here. Obviously, I'm about to head into the cinema. About to head in to see Roofman. The trailers for this did look good. Looked kind of an interesting little stranger than fiction true story. Did look like a pretty fun caper. So I'm hoping that this will be a good one. I've been hearing a lot of good things. But the only way to find out is to head in, get some snacks, get seated for Roofman. So I've got my popcorn here and a Coca-Cola. Ready to watch Channing Tatum rob McDonald's. So, Roofman. I'm back from seeing it. This is directed by Derek Cianfrance, who previously directed Ryan Gosling vehicles such as Place Beyond the Pines and Blue Valentine. This is his first directorial outing in, I believe, 9 years, and he's making his return in quite interesting fashion with this true story that is so absurd that it just has to be something made up by some Hollywood screenwriter. But no, this all happened for real, and it is the kind of, stranger than fiction story that just lends itself so well to a big Hollywood blockbuster. But does the film live up to the wild potential of its insane true story? Let's find out. So the film tells the story of Jeffrey Manchester, an ex-soldier and divorced dad, who makes headlines after a series of robberies of McDonald's branches, entering by cutting open the roofs, earning himself the nickname of Roofman. Eventually, after breaking out of prison, Jeff has to lay low, and so he does by hatching a wild scheme to hide out in a Toys R Us in Charlotte. But things get a little more complicated when he develops feelings for one of the store's employees, a single mother named Lee, who brings out the best in him. But their relationship could also derail everything. Again, it is absolutely wild that the events of the film not only happened for real, but happened this century. And so obviously, yes, the trailer very much leans into that, playing it as this wacky caper, playing up a lot of the comedic elements. They even have Tom Petty as the trailer song. And I do have to say that, this is not that film, not in the slightest. But in saying that, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a damn good time with this. So obviously it is this really interesting crime drama with this really tense and gripping ticking time bomb element. With how long can he keep this up? How long can he evade capture? It's it's very tense and keeps you on edge throughout because you are very much waiting for that moment that things do inevitably come crashing down. It is great, very, very entertaining. But from that, it gets a lot of quite heavy emotional blows, but also some great laughs, because there are some very, very funny scenes in here. And I think in less capable hands, this would probably be a tonally imbalanced mess. But Cianfrance effortlessly finds that balance with this quite, human scale emotional core in the form of this overarching story of a guy finding a second chance in the most unexpected of places. It's this, really tender core that, really keeps things likable and entertaining and well worth investing in. It is, fantastic. It is perhaps a tad overlong. You could probably tell this same story about 10, 15 minutes shorter and the pacing would be absolutely perfect. But as it stands here, it's so entertaining that it's hard to really argue. Of course, what really makes it sing is a fantastic central performance from Channing Tatum as Jeff. Yes, I know what you're thinking, and no, I'm not gonna say it. But regardless, Tatum is great. He's, really charming and charismatic as this guy who, even doing his robberies, is quite disarmingly polite. But he's also got a deeper vulnerability within him because, he's a guy whose bad decisions have cost him like everything he holds dear in his life. And he really effortlessly sells the pain of that. He is fantastic. And it touches a bit on the sort of psychology that actually led him to that point, and admittedly, it probably could have gone a little bit deeper on it, but any cracks in there, Tatum is effortlessly able to paper over with just how damn likable he is. And of course, everyone around Jeff is great as well, in fairness. Obviously, we have Kirsten Dunst as Lee, the Toys R Us employee he falls for. And she is great as a woman who, this is just as much a second chance for her as it is for him. And she really, really sells that. Her relationship with him is effortlessly likable. The two have great, great chemistry. But they're also really able to sell those, devastating, heartbreaking, emotional blows. A particularly great moment comes late on in the film with these like sort of lingering close-ups of both their faces. It is great, great stuff. We also have Lakeith Stanfield as Steve, an old army buddy of Jeff's, who helps him evade capture with the help of his girlfriend, played by Juno Temple. We also have Ben Mendelsohn as Ron Smith, the a very likable and charismatic pastor whose church actually takes Jeff in. And obviously, it's always a delight seeing Mendelsohn and stuff, and it's no surprise that, yeah, this is no exception. We also have Peter Dinklage as Mitch, the manager of the Toys R Us store. He's this cold, unsympathetic, money driven man who also becomes increasingly bewildered the strange occurrences happening in his store, stock disappearing. Yeah, he's great. Dinklage is always fantastic and stuff. In fairness, so that's no surprise. The film is has a lot of energy to its presentation. Obviously, it's shot through with a lot of like warmth and vibrance. Capturing these nostalgic views of of Toys R Us. These shelves filled with toys, but also like older McDonald's as well. And take note on the window of the McDonald's in the opening scene, there is a McRib ad on the window. That's a pretty fun touch, and it very much immerses you in that sort of, the sort of nostalgia of the culture of the time. It's great. There's also a funky little score from Christopher Bear and some well placed, licensed songs, very much hits of the time. I will say, the film's use of No Doubt is featured in probably one of the best scenes of the film. You know, it's really having a lot of fun, effortlessly recapturing a specific point, place, and time. But for all the fun it's having, nostalgically evoking the early 2000s, the film is, yes, gets very, very heavy, particularly towards the end, as the walls do begin to close in for Jeff, as he has to make some very difficult decisions. His sort of again his bad decision making catching up to him. It's great, great stuff. It really, really hits hard. Particularly a great, really hard hitting scene in a prison, like right at the end of the film. These emotional blows come and they really hit hard, and it works because the story so effortlessly builds that investment in it, and it very much stays true to the very human scale, emotional core of the story. Overall, Roofman is a gripping crime drama that finds the humanity amongst its absurd real life tale, anchored by a magnetic central turn from Channing Tatum. Out of 10, Roofman gets an 8. So, let me know down in the comments, have you seen Roofman? What did you think of it? Do you think it did its true story justice? And what did you think of Channing Tatum's performance? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.